The orcs didn't fail to notice, though, charging forward with relish. The vehicles pulled ahead, their drivers and occupants eager to engage in close range, which was about the only range from which orcish guns could actually hit anything. The first vehicle, actually a light tank from what Dante could see, rumbled through a patch of driftwood that had dropped to the bed of the shallow river when the dam went up. Right on cue, a hidden Cadian sapper tapped a button on his detonator, blasting the woodpile apart with an 8,000 km/s wall of superheated air and metal. The orcs had driven directly over a concealed box of grenades the sappers had laid the day before, modified to Dante's specifications. The box was the size of a man, with a thin iron sheet laid in it. Beneath the sheet, blocks of plastic explosives had been placed, with a detonator embedded within, and the cracks filled with jellied promethium. The top half of the camouflaged box had been filled with normal frag grenades, the free spaces left open. The detonation of the plastic explosives tore the box to shreds, instantly reducing the tank to shrapnel and igniting its fuel and ammunition with the burning promethium. The damaged grenades went off next, their own blasts and fragments cutting among the ranks of the greenskins that had been racing alongside the tank to pieces. The sapper smiled contentedly at the sight. "Job well done, soldier," Dante said into his vox. "Stay put. Hold your fire." "I will, my lord," the soldier said, setting into his position just above the canyon wall and pulling out a piece of jerky to chew. "Sapper teams 2 through 16, prepare your own cells at once," Dante said, opening the channel to the other Cadian forces. "Detonate them only when the orcs are literally right on top of them, to ensure the vehicles are fully disabled." "Aye, sir," the regimental major said, tapping his combead and giving his freshly minted commissar a death glare. The commissar was fidgeting under his camo blanket, but caught the stare and quit his movement. The first of the greenskins to pass the tank's flaming wreck were passing by their spot now. A pair of war trucks drove past, and another sapper held his finger expectantly over the button. The sanguinary guard captain pointed his blindingly bright light at the point where the orcs were driving, and an engineer crouched behind him tapped the rune on his slate that turned the light deep red. At the same time, Dante pointed the perdition pistol at the spot and made a great show of pulling the trigger. The sapper tapped the detonator, and the second box of explosives erupted into fire and shrapnel. He adjusted his aim to a pair of anti-infantry claymores, just in time for a pack of Gretchens to waddle in front of it and trigger the movement-sensitive bombs. The Gretchens flew apart in a cloud of red and green goo, their handlers' legs taken off at the waist. Dante repeated the spectacle once more with another box of explosives, the searchlight setting on one, the light turning red, and the false firing of the pistol heralding the messy death of yet another orc war truck. The effect on the orcs wasn't immediately apparent, but with each performance the consternation grew. Dante knew he wouldn't be able to maintain the childish ruse for long, but it was having a wondrous effect on the guardsmen's morale, with a cathartic giggle escaping one or two troops on his voxnet before being silenced by their sergeants. One or two more ought to do it, Dante judged. He holstered the pistol at his side and took a few dramatic steps forward, the adamantine fiber-lined cape he had donned for the occasion flashing red in the morning light. The symbol of an angel resplendent in bloody robes, a mark on the clothes for each blow Sanguinius himself had suffered at Horus's mercies, adorned the cape. Dante halted about 50 meters ahead of the assault marine's position and slowly raised both hands to the sky. Seeing the signal, the pair of devastators from 9th Company that had accompanied him and assisted the guard with the explosives readied their own detonators. The canyon widened at one point, and Dante had ordered the dam be built so that the orcs would just barely be able to target the dam at the point where the canyon narrowed back down to its normal width. That was where the trap would be sprung. The Blood Angel raised his hands as if in a prayer to the clouds above, and waited. 8 seconds. 5 seconds. 2 seconds. With precision that would have made a Necron envious, an ear-splitting crack sounded as 2 huge bundles of shaped charges blew vast boulders out of the canyon walls, dropping them squarely on top of the orc vanguard. Several hundred of the Xenos filth made it past the toppling boulders, and from the sounds audible through the cacophony of the tumbling rocks, several orc vehicles hadn't been able to stop in time to avoid the sudden roadblock. The animals who did make it through raced forward, and Dante permitted himself a tight grin behind his mask. Orcs were so predictable. "Open fire!" he roared, the amplivox in his mask echoing the voice throughout the entire canyon, thanks to some cunningly hidden speakers the Mechanicus had dropped in. The effect on the orcs, again, was minimal, but the guard troops on the dam side of the rockfall responded instantly. The mechanized units that had been hiding on the canyon walls opened up with rockets and long lasses, cutting the greenskins to shreds in a blistering hail of fire from above. The orcs were taken completely by surprise, but rallied, driving for cover against the canyon walls where they could only be targeted by half the guard troops above. This didn't help them much, as the tripwires and pressure plates they stepped on en route triggered all manner of grenade traps, further cutting their ranks apart. The few vehicles left intact turned to face Dante, their drivers whipped into a frenzy by the battle all around them. A few took pot shots at the man himself, though they didn't manage to score any hits.